spoken many times about the values, the things that David Zechron Livrach and the family valued. And one of them, probably the sense I got every time I visited with them, and as was said, David was not a man of many words, but he chose his words carefully. He knew to ask some pointed questions, and through the questions, as you guys have learned in Gemara, from the questions you know what the answer is supposed to be, or what's the agenda, what's the issue. And fella more explicitly, families, children, that's what it's all about. And Baruch Hashem, we're blessed with thousands of alumni who have built Jewish homes, over 1,000 of them in Israel. And we don't like to count grandchildren, but if we understand that the students are our children, and the students are the children of the Shapell family, who have invested so much in them, then when those students have children, those are grandchildren. And we, a couple of years ago, figured that the number of grandchildren that the Shapell family has passed 10,000 easily. And we've already gotten into the next level. I see a number of alumni sitting here who are all grandparents, more than once over. In fact, I think almost every alum who's sitting here, every married alum who's sitting here, is a grandfather. Hashem, okay? And they left there with the wives of the Midrash Shapell women who were married to their grandmothers. So that means you are great-grandchildren many times over. Of course, the students don't know, and I will share it briefly, the touching story, which has so many dimensions, such unbelievable providence, if you will, of David's last visit to Eretz Yisrael. A year ago, he came to celebrate the bris. Ben, Yibad L'chaim, Ben had a grandson, the first Shapell grandson. There were granddaughters, but there was no Shapell grandson named Shapell. And there was no one born in Israel. All of the grandchildren of the siblings, meaning all the great-grandchildren of David and Fella, were born outside of Israel. The first great-grandchild in Israel, the first great-grandson to bear the Shapell name. And David came for the bris, to be the sandik. And then he and Fella came to visit. A few days later, David was in the yeshiva. Fella was in Midrash Rachel. And then, we'll make the condensed version, Eretz Yisrael did not let him go. He was supposed to fly back to Los Angeles. When he got sick, he was supposed to be taken back to Los Angeles. And the man who had cared so much, who viewed the state of Israel as an absolute miracle, it was clear every time I sat with him. Besides wanting to know about what's going on in the yeshiva, we always talked about Israel and what's happening in Israel, and that's how you could get him talking. And he invested in every area, and Eretz Yisrael did not let him go. But we'll get back to the families, and at the initiation, at the suggestion of a group of alumni when we were thinking already months ago, what's a proper tribute that our alumni can do to express their appreciation and honor the memory of David Zechron Livracha. The idea came up to enable a married couple to be able to learn together as a married couple, fully funded for a year. One of the great barriers of a married couple coming to learn, those who have done it, the few that are sitting in this room, know how difficult it is financially. We have a married couple, our married couple sitting here right now, 3 of them in the room, that are now learning with us as married couples. tremendous sacrifice, horrendous mesirut nefesh. Let's see if we can facilitate and enable another couple or more couples to come and learn, because that is the most impactful experience in building a home, when a husband and a wife are studying Torah together in Eretz Yisrael. So the idea was launched. We're going to create a memorial fellowship in memory of David, and we needed to see how do we launch it, and I approached one of our alumni who lives in America, and I had already spoken to him even before this idea came about how he and his wife, as a married couple back in 1991, it was appropriate for him to help us sponsor, to help us fund, to subsidize a married couple to make it easier for them to come. And when this idea came aboard, I went to him and I said, we're launching this campaign. It needs $50,000 for a fully funded fellowship. I want you to stretch and get this campaign rolling. And at that table, he said yes. He and his wife were sitting there, and we launched it. And I'm very happy to report, I just got the email right before the meeting, that we've already passed $51,000. Over 100 alumni have already participated, and Bezrat Hashem, next year we're looking forward to having a very special couple. We don't know who they are yet. We're going to be very selective, because it's very special. But again, we talk about Hashgacha, we talk about providence. Dan and Edna Ritz were planning a visit to Israel. While they live in Passaic, they have a daughter here in Eretz Yisrael, one or two. Two daughters living here, two married daughters. With how many grandchildren do you have?
One for now.
One for now. Okay. And he says they're planning a trip to visit their daughter, and of course, what do good alumni do when they come to Israel for 2 weeks? They spend a week visiting and a week learning. And Dan says, I want to spend a week learning in the yeshiva. Good, fine, no problem. We'll set you up, learning chavrusa shiurim. And then we look at the calendar. Okay, when do you want to come? Turns out he's coming on the 29th of January. I said, wait a minute, that's the Yarzheit night. So Dan is here, just got in off the plane. And as the alum who gave the seed gift that launched this campaign, the biggest gift and the seed gift, we're going to ask Dan to say a few words about why this is meaningful to him, and in tribute and memory of David, expressing some hakarat hatov to the family. Yeah.
In Eretz Yisrael, and I'm in Dr. Noam. I'm breathing in the reich of Torah and the vibrance of the youth, making that visionary step to learn, especially as a married couple. It was special to us, and of course it's special to you. Okay, I've said something about myself, how nice it is to be here. Now I'd like to say something to the Shapells, explain a little bit why I'm here tonight, and then close with something to the students. It's really a question. Do you really appreciate the legacy you have here and your father has here, that your husband has here? I mean, yes, there's the yeshiva and the learning, but it goes so far beyond that. Do you know that when I introduce myself to someone, I'm saying, where did I learn Torah? Sometimes they expect you to say you went to some famous, like I learned full-time as a yeshiva student coming up through the system, which I did not. I say, I went to Shapell's. Oh, you went to Shapell's. You meet someone, you went to Shapell's. A neighbor on the block comes into town. He's a Shapellian. You see this? This is a legacy. Carnegie has libraries and concert halls, and Schottenstein has sfarim and shuls all around the world. And you have us. You have people who identify themselves as Shapell's. The first Shabbos after we left Israel, I'm older than I look, that was 25 years ago, 24. We spent with other Shapell alumni, the Whites in London. We spent countless Shabbosim and time together with the Lafazans, other peers from Shapell's. We settled into Passaic at the recommendation of Rabbi. But who was our tie? It was David and Adina Sampson, other alumni. And we got further grounded by the Lippmans, and the list goes on. You getting the idea? It's like we've made a shift in our lives. The majority of the students made a conscious decision that the direction that they were brought up with may have been this close to Torah, but they decided to go on a slightly different path. And sometimes you need that support group. That was our Shapell family that we found in so many wonderful places, and it meant so much to us. That's your legacy. That's your husband's legacy. So why am I here tonight? We came here at a special time. Back then, it was a record-setting 13 couples, and it was a fantastic chevra, and it was something that we have not forgotten about, and how much it meant in forming our world outlook, and how we conducted our lives, and what we valued. And every time I met any of the Rabbi, I said, so what's doing with married couples? What's doing with married couples? And there always have been. That's been a very important part of the program here. So we started to talk about what's going on now and the challenges that they face. And then the idea of this beautiful fellowship for the David Shapell Memorial Fellowship for Couples. And by the way, this is something that you single guys will understand. Why did I give you an answer at the table? Because my wife knows that when a Rav comes to the house and is talking about something, why give him Yargos Nefesh? Tell him your decision in the room. Make it a lot easier for everybody. And that's what we did. And it wasn't 50, it was a contribution towards it. But I will tell you this, Rabbi Karlinsky, it's intended to be annual, not a one-time thing. For the students, because I'd like all the alumni to think about that assumption, that it's something that's an ongoing relationship. Couples in particular, also all the singles. There'll come a time when you leave here or change your mode of relationship with the yeshiva. The questions that are the huge questions now might be forgotten about, and you'll be faced with different questions. It's not going to be, do we say Hallel on Yom HaTzmaut? It's going to be, what Masifta do I send my son to? Life brings its different challenges. But you know what foundation you have of Torah and of the cliche, the family, but I think in my examples, it's not, you understand it's not a cliche. And the ongoing relationship that you have. And paying it forward, which we're happy to do. So with thanks to the Rabbanu Shalom, to the Shapells, to the Yeshiva, to the Rabbanim, pleased to participate. So happy I could be here tonight, connect a little further, and just everyone in every role that you play, just be proud of what you do. And may it be a beautiful tribute to the neshama of David Shapell.
Okay, we'll close the evening again expressing our appreciation. I want to point out again that the Shapell family, I know that Dave is a Zechron Livracha, when he was alive and fell low-key behind the scenes, but I want to express our appreciation through another thing that the students and the women can't even realize, and that is that Mrs. Shapell is virtually right off the plane. She landed yesterday and rested up and was absolutely determined to make the long trip from Herzliya to come, and we appreciate the effort you made. It really changed the evening to give enabled us to give honor to David. And I hope everybody takes away a chizuk and redoubles their efforts to live the life as a tribute to David with chesed and with tzedakah and with Torah and Jewish education and building Eretz Yisrael.